This episode is brought to you by CarterComics.com. It's your one-stop shop for all your comic needs, whether it be graded or raw. Carter Comics has got it all. All you gotta do is go to CarterComics.com, fill your card up with all their amazing comics. Use the discount code FREAKNET, FREAKNET. Save you 10% at checkout. Not only on their website, but also at their eBay account. And the link to eBay can be found on their homepage at CarterComics.com. Again, CarterComics.com is your one-stop shop for all comic needs. What's up, everybody? I am Travesty, and welcome to another episode of this freaking show. It is the weekly podcast with a little bit of something and a whole lot of nothing. Cartoon Joe is once again off on the road. He is going to a family birthday party, so he's going to be out. So I took the opportunity this week to do something that I mentioned a couple weeks ago, which I know it's rare for me to say I'm going to do something and something actually happening. Because it's a lot better just to lie and get false hopes up and everything is what I do. And I'm going to interview a friend of mine. I talked about it a few weeks ago. If you guys follow us on Instagram or on Facebook or anything, you saw the picture I posted of all the supplement stuff that I purchased from a store called Apex Nutrition. And I gave a shout out to a guy named Matt Stoffle. And that's who I have here today. So you guys who are watching this knows he's been sitting here the entire time, admiring me, which is what he does. And I'm fine with that. I'm used to it by now. For those on audio, you just slightly heard him giggle. So first off, Matt, thank you for being here and thank you for sitting down with me.
Appreciate you having me, man. I mean, at least they can hear me. That's the key thing.
It is. And the thing is, I think what the problem is it's like the audio doesn't want Apex to talk. Yeah, it's okay hearing Matt, though.
He's a jerk anyway, so.
Yeah. Dude's a total moron. But for those of you who do follow JFW and this freaking show, Matt Stoffle is Apex, Southland Championship Wrestling, MCW. Now you're starting to kind of make your rounds and expanding outside of this company. And I told Matt before we started doing this, this conversation is going to be focusing more on Matt. Apex and everything can happen over on JFW and wrestling and all that other stuff. And maybe towards the end we'll dive a little bit into the transition from MMA to wrestling and all that stuff. I do want to talk about your MMA career. And I do want to talk about Apex Nutrition. And a few years back I did this series on the keto diet because keto was the diet for me that actually worked. I don't understand dieting. To this day, I still don't understand it. All my knowledge from dieting comes from what I learn on websites, what I see on like Instagram videos, Facebook videos, TikTok videos of, if you try doing this, and blah, 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 blah. Diets just never really worked for me. Keto did, however. I think it's going to be a point where I'm going to get back into it eventually, but there was a girl who kind of helped me through that process. We don't talk anymore, but back then it was amazing. And I really never had that go-to person since her, until I met you. And, we met at Southland Championship Wrestling when you started doing the training and everything and found out that you have a nutrition, shop that, not only is fantastic, but very convenient to get to from my house or for anyone who drives down 55 who lives in Shorewood. So I guess I'm trying to figure out, like, if I want to start with MMA or if I want to start with nutrition. And I guess my first question is going to be, and then we'll figure this out then, what came first, the shop or the MMA?
Oh, definitely the MMA. The shop is still relatively new. I had been in the industry as what they call a sponsored athlete, an affiliate with a company that used to be in the area. Mm-hmm. They were the ones sponsoring for a couple of my fights, which was awesome. So that's where the love and the passion came from and the real knowledge, adding on top of the fact that for most of my 20s I was a personal trainer. You learn a little bit from there. And once you get down that road, you really want to help your clients. You go down the rabbit hole even further and further, and you learn what you want your clients to be taking, what everyone should be taking, as well then as how to eat properly. I mean, you were talking about diets. I actually just did a video on my page the other day, comparing the keto diet to the carnivore diet. And I was very curious to find out what the actual differences were. And it's a very subtle change. I've been doing carnivore leading up to, I think, the last 2 wrestling shows that we've done. And I've liked the look I've had from it. I've definitely seen a huge difference in myself. Everyone's been telling me there's a huge difference in me, which is what I really like, but I wasn't doing just the straight carnivore, and I haven't been doing just the straight keto. I've been kind of mixing elements of the two that I really like. And that's honestly what dieting is. I hate people thinking like diet is a bad word. Diet is literally what you're putting in your body, but it is a lifestyle that you want to incorporate, because this is how you're going to get yourself healthy. This is how you're going to get results that you're really looking for. So yeah, I think of it more as a lifestyle change than just think of it as a simple diet. There are diets, and we want to make sure your diet is good. So
yeah, and obviously fad diets are a huge thing. Beach bod, Weight Watchers, Slim Fast, or whatever special K diets and all that shit. But let's kind of start from the beginning, learn a little bit more about you, who Matt is, and what got Matt to who he is today. I don't think you had an issue, but talk to me about growing up, like childhood wise. Like, were you an active kid? Obviously, looking at me, I've always been a bigger guy, so I've always been like a big kid growing up. As far as you, have you always been athletic? I mean, was there a point where like you were just like a scrawny kid and eventually wanted to get into it? Like, what was growing up athletic wise for you?
So, and that's the fun part, because not many people realize this until I tell them about this. Number one, martial arts and everything, I got into this strictly because I wanted to be a Power Ranger. That's the funny part of why I got into all of the stuff I wanted to do. I wanted to be the next Green Ranger. I wanted to be a Power Ranger. Done. That was the big thing in my era. Yeah. The fun part was I really wasn't super athletic till I did get into martial arts. Even then, and this might surprise a lot of people, I was severely overweight growing up. My little brother actually was the one that was small. Yeah. I had been, I think, going into junior high, I had done martial arts up until probably about 12 years old, from 4 to 12. My great grandmother basically raised me, passed away. I went through kind of like a depression at that point. I grew to not being very tall, but I was 150 pounds wide. And
how old were you? 150 pounds?
About 12 years old.
I was 180, but yeah.
I mean, I wasn't tall. I don't know how tall you. I mean, you're a tall guy.
I was 5'9", because I remember going around telling people I was 69 inches because that was funny for me. But yeah, 12 years old, 6th grade, 5'9", 180 pounds.
Yeah, so I maybe was 5'1", 5'2", at that point.
How tall are you now? Like 5'8", 5'9"?
5'10".
5'10", okay.
Yeah, 5'10".
Okay, so there was a growth spurt.
There was definitely a growth spurt, which is probably where all the benefits came from. So I was really not happy with myself. As I said, I was out wide, very pudgy kid, very husky kid, very down on myself, for that time frame. It wasn't till, and I swear I give my dad crap about this every day. It wasn't until high school that I discovered wrestling in high school. And, came amateur wrestling high school. Yeah. At this point, I've been watching WWE, WCW since I was 6 or 7 years old. I know we've gone back to what point can we pinpoint when I started that? And in reality, I think it was my dad. But it was definitely WCW, seeing Goldberg, and then I got into wrestling, and that's why I wanted to wrestle then in high school.
So 6, 7 years old, 97, 98?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're the same age. You 34?
35 next month, yeah.
35 next month, okay. So. How old am I?
Bro.
What year were you born?
89.
Okay, so I'm older than you, kid. Come on now. Okay, I just turned 35. Wow. Dude, okay, this entire time I thought I was 34 years old. No, 35. Well, this podcast officially ruined my fucking day. So,
And it's 8 a.m., bro.
I know, right? It's only 8 a.m. I honestly, I thought it was 34. Okay, so 35. So you were watching wrestling, but when you're talking about wrestling now, you're talking about actually the amateur wrestling in school.
Yeah, like I had done judo. My martial arts school that I went to did some kind of a version of amateur wrestling, but I thought that was part of the martial arts. I didn't know that there was a sport in high school for wrestlers.
And this is still, you're still 100, you're still 150 right now?
I'm still a big kid at this point. Yeah, I'm going into freshman year.
So so as far as weight class then, were you the top weight class? Because I know when I wrestled, and you know my interview, I'm going to interrupt you a lot because I want to get the question out before I forget it because I'm not shit. Yeah. So I do apologize for that. I will let you get out what you're going to say. So when I did wrestling in junior high, obviously I was 180 pounds. It was weird because the weight class for us was 175 to 240. I don't know what the weight class is, if that's a universal weight class thing or how it was. So my first and only time I ever fucking wrestled, 7th grade, I was 185 and I wrestled a dude who was 235. Got crushed, got beat. I was like, this isn't fucking for me. I'll go do the fake shit with my buddy in the backyard. But what was your weight class then when you got into wrestling?
So at that point, I still hadn't wrestled yet. I was just cutting weight down. I would have been on the heavier side in the junior high area.
Gotcha.
Because freshman year when I discovered it, I was scared. I was scared. I didn't know if I wanted to be part of a team. It's a lot of work. Everything was going through my head. I think I joined Games Club that year because I was a total nerd and played trading card games. So that was it. I definitely was down that direction. So I give my dad crap though because he apparently was a wrestler in high school and never told me this sport existed. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He goes, well, I didn't want to push you. I'm like, well, I do appreciate that, but I would have loved to have gotten started in this really young because by the time I got to high school, everyone was good. I'm kind of still learning the sport. So around that time, my dad was a bodybuilder. I can literally count how many times I've worked out with him my entire life, though, which is messed up. But he gave me Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding, told me if I had questions, let me know, and that I could start lifting because he had a whole gym in his basement. So that was the process now to lose weight. I went from 150 wide to now growing a little taller, about 5'6", 5'7" at this point. In sophomore year of high school to being 125, 130, and just now skinny.
Okay, so your sophomore year in high school is where you start kind of cutting weight. So between 12 and sophomore year, you're talking about like what, 2 years, 3 years in between?
3 years, yeah.
Were you wrestling during this time then?
No,
or you didn't get into wrestling until sophomore.
I didn't do anything. I still was in mourning of my great grandmother.
Gotcha.
I just played video games. That was it.
So even as a child, like your parents didn't stick you in like baseball and soccer? Because I'm assuming every kid everywhere has played soccer at least once, so they can learn to fucking hate the game because it's useless and the worst fucking game in the world. I'll say it. Come at me. I don't care. Soccer sucks. For an hour plus of watching 0-0 fucking ending games, stupid. Same reason I don't like fucking hockey. If you ended a tie, you're not a sport. I'm sorry. It's just how it is.
Fair enough. So, and it weird, I grew up in Aurora, so I did play soccer a lot with the guys, the Hispanic guys. I was, one of the few of the white gentlemen that lived around that area, which was fine. And,
goalie, I'm assuming?
What's up?
Goalie?
No, I was a really good defender.
Okay, so even at 150 pounds young, you were still able to move.
Yeah. And okay. I don't fall.
Yeah, we're different, bro. I had asma. Fuck you.
I did too.
I was 150 wide. Fuck you, dude.
Bro, so I did
active motherfucker. Don't talk to me like the struggle of weight was when you were a child.
I definitely had been ripped on more than I had liked at that point, being a little bigger.
And you know what? And I think bullying was a big problem in fucking, especially in our childhood. Yeah, I still believe it's still out there now, but I don't think it's as bad. I mean, you have kids, obviously, so you would know better than me if bullying still exists. I'm not saying your kids get bullied or your kids are the bullies.
We've had an instance with my daughter already where, she doesn't want to do anything because she doesn't want to get in trouble. So I told her, okay, cool, show me this girl's daddy.
Right?
I'm like, I'm going to go talk to him.
Exactly. So yeah, and I know obviously you mentioned like your grandma passing, you dealing with that, and it's weird because I went through a similar instance. Like I lost my grandma in like 2001, and it sucked because it was like because I lost grandparents before, but I lost grandparents when I was like 5. So like
Now
the idea of death, yeah. So now here I am, 12, 13 years old, and I'm being told, by my mom, who's in tears or I'm sorry, no, my dad called me, who never cries. My mom told me that when I was 5 that my step-grandfather died, but my dad called and said his mom passed away. And then I kind of understood that. So dealing with that, plus going to school, wondering why your clothes are a little bit tighter than they were a couple weeks ago, or you think people are talking about you, but you don't know they're talking about you until you realize they're talking about you.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through that shit. I think 6th grade was probably my worst year. And by the time I got to like 8th grade on, I really didn't give a fuck what people thought of me. When I got out of high school, I really didn't give a shit. But
yeah,
especially being younger. And I know this isn't all about me, so don't worry, people. This isn't just clarification on my life compared to what everyone else there who thinks their life's fucking rough. I mentioned actually it was a couple weeks ago. I was too fat to play. Was it like Pee Wee football?
Oh wow!
Like I wanted to play football. I loved the idea of football, and I think I was like 10, 11 years old. I was like 160, I think, somewhere on there, and my mom would go sign me up for football and everything, and they said that I was too big to play football. And they told my mom I was too fat. My mom told me I was too big.
Yeah, she made it better for you.
Yeah. And I think like when I look back and I think about it, because my mom always tried. Me and my buddy Derek, which I guess realistically he was very similar to like you. He was about 5'2". He was about 150, 160. So a shorter, stockier fucking guy. I was always a little bit taller, but also a bigger dude. And our parents always tried to get us like to do like children boot camps and stuff like that, where we would go to like the park district and do workouts and stuff like that. And like they would do Weight Watchers with us even when we were kids. It's like a competition kind of thing. And that's why I realized Weight Watchers doesn't work for me. Because I never ate enough fucking points for it to work for me. It just never fucking happened.
Yeah, the points always were weird. It works for a lot, but damn.
It's so fucking goofy. I tried doing it with my girlfriend in my 20s and like, oh, you get X amount of points. I'm like, I eat half of that. We're going to eat all your points. Like, I'm not that fucking hungry. That's why like I want to talk to you about calorie deficits. Yeah. I don't believe that because that shit's bogus too. It doesn't work for me and I don't understand why. I did figure out why, and we're going to dive into my shit beyond the shit we're talking about now, obviously. You're just here. So, okay, we'll get back to you. So, you did soccer and stuff like that, but once you got into high school, you started working with your dad on working out.
Yeah.
Started getting ready for your first wrestling season then, I guess?
First year of wrestling was sophomore year.
And this is after the cutting and working with your dad.
Yeah. This is I'm now smaller. I'm kind of learning the business, gained a little bit of strength. I was nothing at that point. You got a kid that did martial arts ever since he was 5. And now he wants to be a wrestler, and that was it. I was still this nerdy freaking kid. Just trying to find what to do. As you talk about, I want to play football.
Yeah, man, hold on. I'm trying to imagine you as a child, and don't take that the wrong way. So you grew inches. You cut the fat. Now at 150, did you stay at 150 with the muscle build or what?
No, I was down to 125.
125. But you cut the fat, built the muscle, got a little bit taller. So this is your sophomore year. Okay, cool. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And the thing was too, I wanted to play football like you. Like, love it. That's one of my favorite sports.
I hate it now. Thanks, Pee-wee, but fuck that. Yeah.
Now, and it's funny because I still look back, and it was just because my mom didn't want to sign the paperwork. I was like, oh, she's like, it's too dangerous. I'm like, what?
Compared to martial arts and wrestling?
I just did martial arts and okay, just whatever, Ma. It's fine. It's fine. It was something I really wanted to do. The trivia question is, what did Matt do growing up? And I always keep forgetting to tell this because I just block out of my life. We grew up during Jordan. I wanted to be a basketball player up until probably 5th grade. And then I was like, I suck I can maybe shoot.
And you're also 4'11", so.
Yeah, it kind of didn't work out too well on that one. So I got into wrestling. Sophomore year, I won one match. That was it. One match the whole year.
Out of how many,
I mean, we wrestled 2-3 times a weekend for 4 months. So,
invitationals and meets.
Meets, all that stuff. I won one match, and I won my wrestling offer to be in there.
Pins or points? Did you get pinned or did you lose?
Oh, I got pinned a lot sophomore year. Yeah.
Okay, so more pin. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's like you're still learning. I was still learning. I'd never done this before at this point.
But you didn't quit, and that's the important thing. I gave up after one. I was like, fuck it.
No, something told me I wanted to keep coming back. And junior year comes around. Yeah. I'm now getting bigger with muscle. So now I'm still really scrawny though. Like I am still a really skinny kid. But now I'm up to 130, 135 roughly. 5 matches in, undefeated. Total turnaround. It was awesome. Shattered my left ankle. Gone the rest of the year.
In a meet or outside?
Yeah, in practice. In practice. Okay, we were doing something, and next thing you know, I hear a huge pop. And the guy that was out injured already looks at me and is just face. I'm like, yeah, that hurts a lot. Go to the trainer. Trainer says sprain. My mom's a nurse. I wrestled on it for 2 more days before she looks and goes, that is freaking broken. Are you kidding me? We need to go. And the x-ray shows just fractures and cracks everywhere. Luckily, still all in the shape that my foot's supposed to be in.
Yeah.
just completely just gone. He's like, well, here's the good news. We don't have to do surgery because nothing's out of place, but your foot is completely broken. I'm like, oh, okay. Crutches the rest of the wrestling season into spring. I started doing some spring wrestling at that point. Nothing major, just trying to learn, trying to get back into shape. Senior year comes around, got a private coach.
Real quick, let me get asked about that. Now this is 05-06 then?
This is the 05-06 season because when I graduated the 06-07 season.
Okay. Were you still watching professional wrestling now? Like at this time?
At that point, I was still a little bit because I think this is around the time Edge and Cena, right? Around
the Attitude Era started coming around. It was like 02, 03-ish.
So once the Attitude Era ended, and then we started going into the Cena Edge stuff all the time.
The ruthless aggression shit.
Yeah. I was only watching once in a while. I was a little more disinterested at that point.
So was Kurt Angle ever kind of like a go-to hero for you, getting into wrestling, learning about him, and we all know it, won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck and shit like that. And so when you started getting into wrestling, started training now, 05, I believe he was still with WWE at that time. I think he was there till 07, 08 till he went to TNA.
Yeah, then he went to
But, so, Kurt Angle, was he kind of like an inspiration at all, or did you kind of
watched him, loved him, wasn't someone I really looked up to though.
Gotcha.
As that I get made fun of all the time for it. It was just his aura was Goldberg's. Lesnar came around. Now there's a guy with that athletic ability that I was really looking at. That was a genetic freak.
Why do you think that is?
For which part? The part where I didn't like Angle?
No. So when you're talking about Brock Lesnar, like in Goldberg and shit like that.
Yeah.
You're not that size.
No.
You're not a big dude. So for me, I would think if I looked at you, you're probably more of a fan of Jeff Hardy, Edge, Christian. I always feel that people are they like the wrestlers who are close to their body styles.
I agree with you on that one. And
so why Goldberg? Is it because the ambition of always being a powerhouse? But
I wanted to get to that level. Now, Goldberg was more than just his overall look and mystique. It was the fact of how he treated his kid fans and everything. And it's I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that, doesn't pass up on a fan, gives the autograph, makes these kids' dreams come true type thing.
Holds up a company for more money because he feels
Yeah, exactly. I always deserve more.
Real quick, before we get back to it, I don't know if you listen to this freaking show at all or anything, but we do a quick segment where we ask each other what we're freaking drinking. Are you drinking anything in particular right now?
I've got my Reign that I'm trying to wake up right now with.
Awesome. I'm drinking the ISO protein I got from you.
There you go.
And here's the thing too, is like, before I got this, I was always a chocolate protein guy.
Okay.
This shit's fantastic.
It's good.
It is so
well.
It is so good. I haven't had it with water yet. I've been doing it with milk so much. So I'm not sure the taste difference when it comes to water, but
you will only taste the vanilla and it'll be a lot thinner.
Okay, yeah, because I do about 16 ounces of milk with 2 scoops of protein and stuff like that. I do fat-free milk now, but which people are like, ooh, that's disgusting. Well, fuck you. Be fat, okay?
So
your
the thing is,
milk bullshit.
Stay away from skim milk. It's actually worse than a 1% and a 2%.
Oh, yeah, no, I go straight up fat-free milk, which...
Well, that's skim milk.
No.
Fat-free milk.
Well, I get fat-free milk. I don't get skim milk. I get the fucking,
the light blue label, the light blue.
I'm colorblind. Why are you throwing that at me? Why you gotta talk to me about colors? Don't be a dick.
Now we got color blindness. Jesus, I'm just trying to relate to you.
God damn it. God, fucking Apex is coming out. No, growing up, we had skim milk. Well,
yeah, it was horrible.
Again, when we got to the whole, we need to help Travis lose weight, because I was the only kid. Here's another thing to my family. I love you all, but fuck you people, because this whole time I was growing up like, oh, we need to help Travis lose weight. We need to put better food in the house and everything. And now you're all fatties. So take that. I just got here before you. That's on you people.
I was already here.
Yeah. I achieved everything that you guys got now. I was at my niece's birthday party. I'm looking around at everyone. I'm like, God, everyone's a thickin' nowadays. Everyone's all worried about me at fucking 15 years old. Like, Travis, you're 300 pounds. You need to lose fucking weight. Look at your brother. Look at your sister. Look at this. Look at that. I go, okay, cool. Yeah. And now look at all you now, you thick asses. Jesus Christ.
That's gold.
And not about me. I love this show because it's very therapeutic for me. Anyways, we're back at you at some point. I can't remember. So you fucked up your foot. You're out for the rest of the season. You're getting back into the senior season now. Okay.
Yep. Just did a private coach all off season. Get to senior year about, I think it was a couple weeks before preseason where we started ramping up our weight training and everything.
When is wrestling season? November?
October. It starts up into November all the way to February then if you go to state.
Okay. And you didn't do any sports outside of wrestling?
No. I was a softball manager for the girls softball team for a while.
Oh, nice. Okay. Now, why'd you do that?
Came to me and offered, and it gave me a chance to be around women all day. So.
Okay. So it wasn't like, you're a fan of baseball and shit like that, and.
The teacher that was really close with me he was one of the coaches, asked me to take pictures because he liked the way I was being a photographer for everybody. And then that turned into, hey, you want to just manage the team with me? And I was like, sure, why not?
So were you like a third base coach, a first base coach, a bench coach?
Scorekeeper more than anything, and I just kind of scouted the other teams while he made the auditions. I scouted a team for him to tell him tendencies and everything on there while also before. So
okay, because I know a lot of the guys, especially in my school, anyways. They did spring and summer sports, kind of like a. What are you looking at?
Piece of tape that frickin' is on my desk and start bugging me.
I'm just like, you're like.
I know. That's that ADD I got.
They always did like spring and summer sports as like as a condition. They did like track and field as like a conditioning for the wrestling season. I did fielding, I did shot put and discus and everything, but I get a lot of there'll be wrestlers who would come and do shot put, do discus for the power lifting and the lifting aspect of our training, but then they would also do I think they were more like the 800s. It wasn't the marathon stuff. It was more of the sprints, the 400s and the 800s, which they didn't give a shit about coming in last. They just did it as an endurance thing because for any sport, even professional wrestling, endurance is fucking key. I love hearing the new guys and stuff when they talk about, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get in shape, I gotta lose weight, I gotta do this, I gotta look bigger, I gotta look buff. I'm like, unless you have stamina, it doesn't matter what the fuck you look like. If you get blown up 5 minutes into a fucking match, I don't care what your fucking pecs and fucking abs look like, man. Be Bam Bam Bigelow. Yeah, I'd rather see fucking Bam Bam Bigelow than Ryback if fucking stamina is your priority. And So a lot of the guys, it's good because in my school, like the coach, I think focused more on on point victories than pin victories. Out wrestle your opponent. If you can pin him, great, but get him with points. Wear him down, tire him down, and shit. So they focus more on endurance, which I think is incredible. I think for any sport, endurance is fucking key. It's great to have the fucking muscles, but if you're all show and no go, who the fuck cares who you are?
Exactly. I've seen a bunch of those people, and also, you know how we talked about why I probably was more drawn to like the Goldberg, Brock Lesnar size guy. I grew up around bodybuilders, so maybe that was the thing. You know, I grew up seeing big guys. My dad was a pretty big guy for being all natural, so that probably was my reasoning a little bit more. If we really want to dig deep into the subconscious of where I might have found that idea.
Make your dad proud. I mean, I think everyone does. You know, I mean,
you know, me and my dad. You know, my dad's old school. He tells everybody else how proud of me he is. I don't think I've ever heard him say it directly to me, but
well, you know he's saying that.
Yeah, I have others come up.
What's that like?
And tell me like that he has said it to them and everything.
What's that like?
With what? Being told you're proud?
What's that like? You know, because you know what I get. You know what? I think the nicest thing my parents ever said to me was, I don't want to have to wipe your ass because you get too big. I think that was the nicest thing I ever heard from them. I go to my dad's, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, "No, I'm just sitting here." "Oh, okay. Well, why don't you go for a walk? Why don't you do some sit-ups?" I remember I went out to lunch with him one time, finished eating up. He's like, "Why don't you give me the keys to your truck and I'll tie you to the bumper. You can run home." Thanks, Dad.
Jesus.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, and then I get a dad that doesn't want to push me into anything, even though I'm willing to be pushed in. Like, throw. Like, come on, man.
But have you ever asked your dad, and I don't know if you guys ever had this conversation, or maybe you will now that I'm asking, but being a stocky kid when you were 12 years old, did you ever ask your dad, why did he allow you to get to that point? Because I think as a bodybuilder, he would want to encourage you guys to be physically fit.
So he did everything in his power to prevent this. Like all the food in the house, I did not want any friends coming over. Everything was, hey, it's all healthy foods. It's foods no one was eating. There was no junk in the house really at all. That's where my mom came in. My mom's job, she literally would just make money and then go buy me shit. And a lot of McDonald's, a lot of like dumb shit. And that was it. Like my dad tried everything he could, and my brother was way more active. So
I'm not to dive too much into your personal life and family life. Were your parents married or still married, still together? Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you're healthy at your dad's, you're not at your mom's.
No.
You go trick or treating as a kid?
I did a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so you had candy and stuff like that growing up. Even though your dad probably didn't like it.
He tried to, keep as much of the bad stuff outside. Like he knew, like things like that, he never prevented us from, candy. I got candy on holidays. I got candy from him. It's just when it came to food, it was trying to cook it right, trying to teach me the right aspects of eating. And then mom takes me to McDonald's every day. So it's probably where some of that weight gain came from.
Now, what would you get from McDonald's though?
At that time, I think I was still in the chicken nugget era when their nuggets weren't that great. And then I got into some burgers, as well. Like I'd eat the double cheese, triple cheeseburgers pretty regularly.
Well, when you're 12 years old, double core pounder with cheese, supersized, because that was a thing still back then.
It's huge. That's a big burger.
I about gave me a 20. Told me to go up and grab more food because I was still hungry. Didn't expect me to come back with a double core pounder with cheese supersized meal. And I went to tell her. I had to lie to her. I've never told her this, so if you listen to this, I'm sorry, Ma. I lied to her. I was like, this is what I ordered. I asked for a double cheeseburger. I accidentally asked for the wrong number. I was looking for the 2 cheeseburger meal. I didn't mean for it to be supersized, but here we are. Yeah. So I lied. Yeah, sorry, Ma. Fat, but hey, now all your kids are fat. That's on them too.
Now there's nothing to go around it.
Yeah, middle child. Fucking love me less. I don't care. Senior year, getting into your final wrestling season.
Yeah, so I did off-season programs. You were talking about that. We did spring wrestling. There's summer wrestling. There's off-season wrestling all the time, which is interesting.
Okay.
Not many people know that, but if you got kids out there, guys who are in wrestling, look at the spring programs, look at the summer programs if you really want to keep them going before football season.
It's not through school. Like it's
usually there's programs. Yeah, some of the schools have them, and then there's like the actual like IKWFs and other federations that have stuff going on regularly. So. Yeah, I got 1 month before we were getting started, my appendix burst. And going into senior year, I'm now beaten. Like, this sucks. Once I got healthy, I actually had a really close friend on the team. He put me through the entire offseason program in like 2 weeks. He's like, you are going to be ready for this. We're going to get you in shape. Let's go. At this point, I'm still skinny. I'm longer. Like, I have a long torso for people my size. And it helps me out with leverage in wrestling a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm 140 I'm wrestling at right now at this point. So I gained some size, but nothing significant in the muscle department. Got into the season. I bounced from JV1 and varsity back and forth. And I went to West Aurora. At this time, I don't know how it is now. At this time, West Aurora is a huge wrestling school. We had one of the best coaches. We had some of the best guys coming up. We were in the toughest division in the state. So we had competition that we were going to regular. So to be on varsity with wrestling only one full year, winning one match, losing almost all my second year, junior year, and then getting into senior year with an appendix coming in late. The fact that I was able to even make it to varsity, that's where my mind goes, man, if I had figured this out as a kid and found this, I might have been a state champion. Because I finished 12-12 bouncing around. I finished third in the DVC division in the conference. And when regionals and sectionals came up, I lost my spot to another guy because we were the same, but he was aggressive. I was defensive wrestling. I got a lot of victories through grinding it out the whole period. We got some good pins in, but I just was not getting taken down and I wasn't getting pinned. It's very simple at that point.
Were you the same weight class the entire time?
About 1 month in, coach comes up to me on a Friday after lunch and goes, hey, you're going to wrestle 135 tonight.
So cut weight, right?
I'm like, I'm doing what? Because I walk around at my weight purposely for this reason. So I think I had to lose a pound or something like that night, which just fucking sucked because I purposely was always wrestling up my weight class just to make sure I never had to cut weight. And that was the start of the cutting of the weight from there. So yeah, third in the DVC. Really wish I'd gone longer with it. Had plans to go to Elmhurst College and wrestle with my private coach. Wound up going to Abonsi, was thinking about wrestling there, and that's where the decision came in. Do I go wrestle for college, or do I go try jiu-jitsu out and do MMA? And
so through high school, were you still in martial arts and stuff, or
no,
you kind of stopped?
I had gone back a couple times, just trying to see if I had any like for it anymore, and unfortunately, too much time had gone. I was just no longer interested.
Okay, cool. So overall, what did you decide to do when you got into college?
I went and did MMA. I went to try for my fire science degree to follow Dad's footsteps, and decided I wanted to do the real fighting thing from there instead. So found a gym in Oswego. The team was called Team No Ego. It's with them probably about 2 years, 17 to 19.
Mm-hmm.
For age-wise, and stuff happened. I did an unsanctioned fight that no one really knows about. Did not go well for me, so it's not in my record books because it was unsanctioned. And controversial, of course. That's usually my losses are. And from there, my grandma lived in Schaumburg, and she goes, Matt, there's a gym up here if you're interested that, I lived in Aurora, that has got some really good MMA guys. At the time, Clay Guida was there. There was a couple other guys, John Hossman of WEC, and a couple other, and a lot of bigger names that were just local. And went in there because grandma found it for me, and that's when I discovered Midwest Training Center, and the rest was history from there. I'm still with them to this day. 15 years with them.
50. Okay, so 19 or 20, I guess.
I walked in at the end of the year of 2019, or in
2009.
2009. Yeah, walked in at the end of 2009, and I've been with them since.
Yeah, 2009. I was getting drunk out at Barnes. So yeah, I guess parallel stories.
Little different pathways there.
What was MMA what you expected it to be?
You know, I was, and I tell everyone this all the time, I was looking to do professional wrestling at this point. I didn't know many places, didn't have anybody in the circles yet that could really guide. But when I got to MMA, you had to work hard at it. I was a pretty decent wrestler. The only striking really I had done was back when I did Kung Fu growing up. And, you know, I hate to say it, I learned boxing watching Rocky, and that's not boxing. This is where I thought I learned boxing.
If you found wrestling in 08, 09, if you look beyond, you probably could have ended up at the Elite Pro Dojo, and you could have probably trained with me and Nubby.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, because I mean, I was only there for 9 months, and I know I make the big joke and everything, but in reality, I was only there for 9 months, and I ultimately chose work and full-time employment and making money and shit like that. Nubby was there the entire time from the beginning to the end of it and everything. So, yeah, I mean, it was in New Lenox. It was right there off of Illinois Avenue, I think, or Chicago Ave, or whatever the fuck it was. But during your high school, when you're doing amateur wrestling, you said that you didn't really watch that much professional wrestling. Why try to become a professional wrestler after high school then if your interest wasn't really there as much?
It was always a dream, and where do you go next after wrestling in high school was the question. Do you go, and this was now, but that MMA became a new option that most guys didn't afterward.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was never going to be in the Olympics. I had no desire for that. I had no desire to really do anything outside of either professional wrestling, professional fighting. You know, was it everything? It was hard, and it was worth it though, because it changed who I was. You talk about having a full-time job. I probably was one of the only guys on that team that fought, and I fought less because of it, because I worked full-time jobs. I supported my house. I lived in my own apartment. I paid my own bills. I was one of the few fighters that had insurance because of those reasons. But that hindered me from really going in. You hear guys, I sleep in my car. You know, we had a house that was designed for guys that didn't live nearby, that they rented, and all the guys could stay there and live together and just be right near the gym. So you had to think of the gym all the time. So, if I didn't meet my wife, around that time and start dating, I probably would have been in the house and doing that direction.
So how old were you when you met your wife then?
So we met officially when we worked at Jewel together at 16, didn't start dating until I was 20.
Okay. So she's been with you since, well, I guess you guys known of each other through amateur wrestling, but she's been with you through the MMA stuff. Yeah. What's her thoughts on MMA and you doing it and all that? Yeah.
Hates that I do it. Just knows though that, you know, she supports me because she knows that I love it.
Okay.
You know? I mean, she's been the type that's always been I don't like this, but as long as you're there, I will go watch. As long as it's you, I'll go watch. And, you know, I don't want you to get hurt.
Did you ever see the movie Here Comes the Boom with Kevin James?
Of course.
So what level of MMA were you doing? Were you doing the chickens running around, or the fairgrounds, or, you know, like the amateurs of UFC? Like what level of UFC or MMA were you doing? I guess it wasn't technically UFC, but MMA. Like what level were you doing?
It was considered amateurs, but I've been with some of the bigger companies in the Midwest and fought for them. So I've done what those are called smokers at carnivals and other weird places. There's no real money there. That record is pretty damn good, and we're just not going to keep going because I don't want to lose my license. But you know, when I got to like the bigger shows, like I fought in front of a few thousand people at a time. I've fought outside. I've fought indoors. I've fought big names. I've been undefeated. I mean, I started out 3-0 when it came down to it. I was one of the top guys in the Midwest. Nobody was making it to the second round. The first guy that did went the distance, and that was my first loss because the judges don't know how to score fights, and it was my fault because I should have finished them. So.
What was your go-to way of victory? Submission or knockout?
Well, I was a submission artist. I mean, if you watch me wrestle now, which I know you do, I definitely
it's kind of my job, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of the job here. I was a submission guy. I had knockout power. My first fight, we just stood up and we showed the world and made everyone that would watch me think that I was a boxer, kickboxer, and that's all I did. So when I fought the second time and picked the guy up and slammed him to the mat, everyone was in shock. Like, holy shit. I was like, yeah, I'm actually a wrestler. And we just didn't let tell nobody.
As MMA goes, whether it's Bellator, UFC, whatever the fuck it is it more like, is the idea to get your opponent to tap out, or do people physically focus more on? I'm assuming it's more tap out shit because there's no pinning in MMA. It's tapping out or knocking out or points or whatever. But what's the focal point on trying to obtain a victory? What's I know that it's win at any cost, but what's if I get him to tap, I can win, or if I get him to knock out, or fucking let's go with points. Like, what is the go-to method of getting a victory?
The go-to method is learning your opponent. There's two ways to go about a fight, and I've heard both. I've done both. I'm going to train to be able to beat the guy that I'm about to face and learn everything he knows. And then there's I'm the better fighter. I'm going to learn to do what I'm best at, and he's got to try to stop me.
Gotcha.
And I've been in both those shoes. I've trained leading up, like, okay, what does he do? What does he know? Okay, I'm going to go here with this direction, and I'm going to game plan around that. And there's those where it's like, look, man, I'm pretty darn well-rounded. You're not going to beat me. There's no facet of this game that's going to beat me in, and I'm going to make sure that I'm the best at each spot. Stand-up, ground, submission, whatever.
So how far in advance do you know who your opponent is?
It really depends on how fast the promoter finds somebody.
Okay.
You could know, like an MMA camp typically is 8 weeks. You could know the opponent week 8 starting, or you can know the opponent 3 days before your match, because there could be dropouts or injuries. I've had my opponent change 3 times before a fight before. It can be exhausting because you're cutting weight. You're hoping that this dude's going to make it. And I've had that before. My last fight last year, we had 2 lined up with a guy. They canceled one show. Now, this is the messed up part. I did everything to keep the fight going, and the dude just dropped out at the last second. I broke my finger, didn't tell nobody. We were still going to go with the fight because I think the fight was 8 weeks. It takes 6 weeks to heal a bone. I was ready in 4. Gave me 2-3 weeks to get ready to go for the actual fight now. And then this dude just drops. I'm like, well, what's going on? And the only thing I came to, I'm like, he looked at my record because he was a coming back guy too. And I'm like, this dude looked at my record. I know it. There's no way.
So what goes into scouting your opponent then? Because I'm assuming if you have an opponent 8 weeks out, let's say like Matt, you're going to face Justin Brown in 8 weeks. I'm assuming he doesn't have a fight between those 8 weeks, just like you don't have a fight for those 8 weeks.
Correct.
So are there stat sheets for this guy? Do you try to go on YouTube and look up Justin Brown MMA?
Yep. You're using Google. You're using your social media. You're trying to find whatever you can on the guy itself. I mean,
but how accurate are stats in amateur MMA?
Pretty accurate. Everything's the same. The only difference in amateur MMA to consider professional is pay, knees to the face, and elbows. That's it.
I got you. So when you go to your bouts, when you're wrestling for your school, I'm guessing it is?
Yeah, your team.
Okay. Sponsorships and stuff, do they have that at your level, or?
Yeah. The last fight, actually, when I did that last year, that was the first time I've ever gotten sponsors. I never looked for any. I was very big on, I can do this myself, and let me show you guys how you can without needing all this money. Because when you get to sponsor, people get demanding. I've sponsored athletes. I've worked with sponsored athletes. I've heard their demands. Oh, we want this. We want that. I want this.
Yeah.
I didn't want to deal with that. I'm like, if a sponsorship comes, cool. I had one t-shirt company like sponsor me that gave me a shirt. That was it. That's all we did. I'm like, that's cool.
Did you say who the sponsor was?
I don't think they're around anymore. It was Your Fight was the t-shirt brand company, and they just hit me up. I filled out a questionnaire thing, and they showed up at one of my fights, gave me my shirt, and I represented them. I mean, it was
Did you win that fight?
That one was not a win. No, that was actually the only real loss I've ever had.
So that's probably why they went out of business. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did not.
Okay. So there is sponsorship. So they try to make it as legit as the main MMA.
Oh, it's all sanctioned, governed, everything. Bill.
Because the only thing I heard of as far as your MMA career before we were talking was, I think it maybe was your last fight that you did. I think you came out to Cody's theme song.
I totally came out to Kingdoms, and I hit every marker when I was coming out because I knew I was going to start wrestling in 2 weeks. I was going to try it because I had no idea if I was going to be good at it. I had no idea if I was going to love it or if I just wanted to stick to the MMA world.
I know when Hunter first mentioned you. Yeah, I'm going to interrupt you. Just deal with it.
What a dick.
It just happened. It's my fucking show, bro. You're a guest here. You listen to me, damn it. Because when Jeff or Hunter Payne or whatever first mentioned you, he's like, "Yo, we got a new guy in here," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." You know, I was like, he's like, "Yeah, his name's Matt and everything. He's one of I think he called him Vince's boys."
Yeah.
Because you, Johnny, I think there was the dude you saved. I think was also a Vince's boy.
Rob. Yep.
Rob, yeah. I think there was one other guy, I can't remember, but I don't think he stuck around.
No.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. He's like, he's an MMA fighter and everything. So he's not really training to wrestle. He's just getting in shape for a bout or something like that. So I think at the beginning you weren't really striving to train to, or at least that's what the impression that Jeff was saying was, that you were just coming here to get match ready, not trained to wrestle.
Yeah, and that was the 2 months before the fight. That's when we figured out where I was, and it was something to do, because even Hunter was like, hey, why don't you just come in and use this good cardio? And I'm like, all right, I don't do anything on Thursday nights. I'll come on Thursday nights. That way I can also familiarize myself with your training, and I can just get the cardio stuff done, and then we can talk about real training after the fight. And that was my big thing, is it's got to be after the fight. Vince was all over me. Come on, dude, you got to come in. Like, after my fight. I'm like, dude, I waited 7 years for this. It was a long hiatus in my career.
Yeah. So Jeff was right then. Your focus coming in was straight up training for your MMA fight. It wasn't focused on getting into the ring. But once the match happened and everything, and sorry you lost. I hope my joke earlier didn't. You know, I
won that one.
Oh, okay. So you
that
won.
was when I won.
Whatever. It's whatever. I don't listen. I'm not a great interviewer. I told you this. You know who I am.
Yeah, I knew what I said.
So your last bout you won.
Yeah.
The one before that was the loss, I take it then?
Yeah, that was all.
Okay. So after you pick up the victory, wouldn't you think that you'd want to continue to go with it? Like, why did you stop MMA to do wrestling if you won that bout?
I made a promise that I was going to at least check out professional wrestling, see if it was something I wanted to do. Vince is very persistent on bringing that up and like bugging. Honestly, he just bugged the shit out of me all day. Mm-hmm. He'd come over to the store and he's like, "Come on, dude, you got to try this." I'm like, "Nah." He's, "You love it. You know you do." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." I'm like, "Let me check out the training. Let me see if I have a knack for this." Because when I was just going against them, I'm watching them do the sequences and I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's good. We'll see how it is. And I got over eager, and I think I said I was going to take like 2 weeks off, and I think I showed up that Thursday, like right after my fight. It was like 4 days. And
so it wasn't the work that was being put in. It was kind of the I guess the techniques of it all, like the steps and movements and stuff.
That's what I was worried about. Yeah, I always, there's the constant competition. You see it with McGregor and all them. I've done both training styles. I've seen what it's like to do both. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, when you come from 6 days a week training 2+ hours a day for a fight compared to 2-3 times a day for a few hours, 2-3 hours, it's a totally different ball game. And when I trained for MMA, that was literal hell for me. When I'm training for wrestling, it's not trying to shoot down the training of wrestling, but compared, it is a vacation compared. It's still very hard, but when you're comparing the two different styles, MMA training is so much different. You got to think of it too. You're trying to train to beat somebody up all the time. Like, this guy is not working with you. This isn't a dance. He wants to do the same.
Well, the problem with wrestling training now, and I've had this conversation with Hunter, and it does kind of suck, but it's unfortunately true. And I don't know if I haven't been around as much as I used to be. I don't know with Terry being there, if it changed at all. But if you went into training in 2009, if you went to Elite Pro and you did that training, you would see apples and oranges to what wrestling is now. Because I know, talking with Hunter and talking about his training, like, dude, man, it's like, your training is really fucking easy. Like, me right now, which I am probably 100 pounds heavier than I was when I trained back in the day.
Okay.
Me 100 pounds heavier could do your guys' training now. Because it is simple. It's so easy. And it's like talking about Hunter. It's like, if I do it the way we used to do it, people will quit. Because people, not you, not some of the guys, but maybe some of the guys. And I'm not going to name names, but there's one particular person in my fucking head who constantly tears himself down because he doesn't think he can handle it. And it pisses me off every day I see his Facebook post about it. They don't want to put in the work, but they still want to get the reward that comes at the end. Yeah. When I did training, you were constantly doing fucking squats. It wasn't doing like, the 50 squats or whatever the hell you guys are doing. Like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever the fuck you're counting. I don't know how many squats you guys do.
I do zero. I do my own training. I'm working out 3 days a week. By the time I get to the training session, I'm like, I'll have fun. I'm already warmed up.
Yeah, it's like the first 45 minutes of training was warming up and working out, jumping jacks, push-ups, burpees, squats, because leg power is important in wrestling.
Yes.
Like in order for you to get yourself up, because a lot of people who don't know about wrestling is a lot of the moves that are being done to you is being done through the help of you. Doing a suplex, doing a power bomb, doing a fucking scoop slam. All that shit involves you jumping, getting your body underneath and lifting up. Because in order for me to body slam fucking Apex, I'm a big dude, you're a smaller guy, I could probably pick you up and do it, but the difference between me just picking you up without your help and you actually helping, the move looks better. And that's the whole point. Yeah. It's a theatrical way of fucking doing the move. I could power bomb you without you fucking helping, but it won't look as good if you're not bending your knees, jumping, pushing up off my thighs and getting lifted up.
Yep.
Suplex the same way. I can get you over. It's just going to look like shit compared to you jumping, posting on my fucking leg and going over. So squatting was fucking huge. Like, I don't think there was a day we didn't do 200 to 250 fucking squats. And it was just the body squats and shit, the 1, 2, and shit like that. It was always just, it was a time, there wasn't a count. It's like, okay, we're going to do 10 minutes, start fucking squatting, or whatever the fuck it is. If you need to take a break, but you don't take a break for more than 2 squats of the person next to you.
Yep.
Fucking keep moving. Cardio is fucking huge. So it's like, you run, and the guy behind you better not fucking pass you and shit, because he can't. He's going to get pissed and shit because he wants to fucking bust his ass. But when I get in the training, I see you guys, I'm like, man, I could fucking do this. And that sucks, because at my weight, at 450 pounds, because I'm fat, I shouldn't be able to do your fucking workouts. But I know I fucking could. And it sucks because I hate the idea of people of Hunter having the image of, if I make it too hard, nobody's going to want to fucking do it, and people are going to leave, and we're not going to have the students, we're not going to get the rent, and we're going to lose this fucking place.
And you hear that. You hear that a little bit. As you said with Terry, like Terry practices, everyone talks about are nuts. I've been through a Terry practice. I know how intense they are. Unfortunately, it's still not something that it's not at the level that I've trained already. I mean, when we're doing jiu-jitsu nights, those are 5-minute rounds, and you're just going one after another for an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
There's no break. There's no rest. There's consistently moving. Your break is the time it takes for your coach to say, okay, you two are going next. That's that's your break time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's like, I've come to this. I want it to be, this can't be easy for, hey, anyone can do this, because they can't. This is tough to do, and this is something that you have to work for to do. It's not just in the ring. You could be on the mic, I guess, and just do mic work and everything. That's great. That's a good part of the character.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, you know, I mean,
thanks, buddy.
Gifted gab like you.
See what happens when I commentate for you next.
Yeah. Oh, they've been just golden lately.
Oh, look at Apex attempting it.
Oh, he hasn't waved at me.
Oh, look at that, a clothesline. Oh, look, a back elbow.
Do something else, you mart.
Like, oh, what's that? Is that a fucking leaping neck breaker? Seen it. No. You fucking dude, I love commentating your fucking matches. Okay, so you had your final MMA match. Is MMA still an option for you? Like, are now you focused on professional wrestling?
Right now I'm focused on professional wrestling. I do miss it a lot.
The door's still open?
The door's still open because I wanted to properly retire. I don't want to come out and just say, hey guys, I'm retired. Thank you for, 15 years. I want to go do it in the ring. I want to have one more match, and I want to be able to take my gloves off, put them in the ring, and thank everybody for following me the last so many years. The key thing is when that timing's going to be. I don't want to get too much older, but at the same time, I'm loving what I'm doing right now. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of good stories, a lot of big things coming for me, which is awesome. And I want to keep going in that direction, maybe until I get bored. Maybe when I get bored, we do something to where I need to step away for a little bit. I'm going to go back to fighting. I've thought about maybe one of the practice nights a week going up to my old gym, be like, hey, I'm going to go work out. Make sure my skill set's still there so it's less of a transition coming back. And then we figure it out where it is. I don't care what it is. Give me guy my age, give me a young guy that's just coming up and wants to make a name for himself. I'll give him a good fight regardless, and win, lose, draw, that's it. We're going to call it a day.
All right, I'm going to ask you one more wrestling question, and I want to talk about Apex Nutrition.
Yep.
I have in my mind what the answer is, but what was the hardest thing about professional wrestling for you to learn so far?
I'm still having trouble with heights, but it'd be striking.
See, I thought it was striking too, because to go from 15 years of learning how to hit somebody to now you got to go to learning not to hit them and pulling your punches.
How make it look like I'm hitting them? Yeah, it is total. I think if you watch my last 3 matches, because now we're literally hitting my year anniversary where I've only missed one show. In that whole time frame, you can see the evolution of my strike looking better and better. I actually had one of my workers come up to me the other day and we were watching. He goes, okay, it was actually me and Johnny at the Majestic. And he's like, either you are really just laying him in or you figured out how to pull and it looks perfect. And I'm like, yes. Yes.
Yes, too well. Technically you missed 2 high voltages, but it's whatever. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. I get it. I know what your priorities are. It's fine.
I mean,
oh, my back hurts. I can't be on high voltage. If I can do a fucking ladder match, dick.
Did I do the ladder match? No.
I think you did.
No, I'm not supposed to.
The car shot ladder match, you weren't in that?
I was not in that. I was suggested for it after I think I'd only been wrestling 2 months. People put my name in the hat.
No, I wasn't talking about that night. No, because there was one night you had the fancy football, which you missed the whole show. And then there was the other one where you had the wedding that you couldn't come until later. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. I literally went to my friend's wedding, watched her walk down the aisle, leave, and said bye to everybody. I have to go wrestle.
But are you so you weren't in the car shot ladder match? Because for some reason I imagine you were in. I know it was like I thought it was you, Benny, the one Aaron, or no, the one Creed one.
Yeah, it was Creed, Benny, Mulligan, Jazz, Schultz, and Creed.
Why did I think you were in a ladder match?
Yeah, not yet.
Oh, damn, okay.
Maybe this year.
Maybe. Well, that's up to Flat Top.
Yeah, President Flat Top.
If I'll have Apex on JFW, we can talk about that if you guys really want to learn about who Apex is. And by the way, Apex is Matt's gimmick name in professional wrestling. So when you hear us mention that, Apex Nutrition, however, is your company. It's your business. It's your nutrition store attached to Shorewood Fitness. First off, how did you end up connecting with Vincent from Shorewood Fitness?
So we were both members, on the team for Click Nutrition when that existed in Joliet before their nasty history popped up and negativity. We were on that team together, trying to promote that business. Didn't really speak that much. I mean, me and him probably didn't have a word until the owner needed to sell because he became incarcerated. And
I have no idea what you're talking about. By the way,
it's okay. I'm just going to keep it very vague on that one.
Cool.
It's a bad part of our history. But
he's still in jail?
Yes, he is for a very long
time. Oh, okay. So it's to bet. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It's a while. So me and Vince apparently were bidding against each other for the store.
To buy
the store. Yes, he wanted only one element that Click Nutrition had. I wanted the whole business because I knew I wanted to start something. I was literally looking for an investment opportunity for myself. I had been running Amazon delivery company for 2-3 years at this point as a partial owner. So I wanted to make sure I had something to do, and I wanted something that was mine. And I knew the potential of the place. I knew what it could do, and I knew how much fun and how much I loved it when I was there. So I bumped into Vince at the Best Buy out here by us. I saw his famous Corvette, very easy to recognize. We talked a little bit, and I told him well, you're bidding me right now, and I actually have the highest bid. So I don't know how we want to proceed. We actually started talking from there about how, hey, let's work a deal out. So I won the bid, opened the store in August of 2021 with a new staff.
Real quick, what exactly were you bidding on? Because you didn't keep the name. So what were you just bidding on the merchandise? Or?
That was the thing. We did it first. The idea was, were we going to keep the name or were we going to change it? At the time, when I first was ready to buy, I was ready to keep the name until I found out all the negativity behind it, all the rumors and bad stories, which is a whole show in itself if you ever wanted to learn those. I'm all about shows and stories, bro. I mean, I could literally give you an entire show's worth of information.
I'll always have you back on. You're a friend of the show now. So and I guess because again, I don't know what the story is, we don't have to get into it, but I guess it's really hard to think about you're bidding for a company to where the history of it's I think keeping the name would have been a bad idea. But along with the name was the building, or lease or whatever,
we
product and all that. Okay.
So we absorbed a lot of that. Vince wanted more of a brand that they carried, which was CEO Nutrition at the time. Unfortunately, that nutrition line is gone. But at the time he wanted that. I wanted the whole store. And eventually he said, all right, well, I'll step back. You buy the store. And I did. During this time, then one of the agreements with the family was I will open Click back up, run as Click, and once we get everyone to start coming back in, that knowing that their favorite stores reopened, we will then change the name and we'll start paying back some of the debts that he had accumulated from not being open for 5-6 months. So
there was a lot of PR and stuff after you.
There was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot in that deal.
And what year was this at?
So this is August 2021.
Okay, so post-pandemic, social media. Okay, so the social media era. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we're still in at this point. Things were settling down with the COVID and the masking and all regulations. So that's why it was kind of helpful. We were running through, and my son was very sick, and I was in the hospital with him at the time. And I'm in his room, and I'm getting phone calls from the previous owner's mom, just drunk, and just telling me, hey, you're not allowed in that store anymore. I talked to him. You're not making money. We're not going to sell to you. Don't show up on the property or you're going to get in jail. I'm like, well, I have the key. Possession's 9/10 of the law. I pay the bills. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm fucking panicking, getting pissed off. Feel bad. Nurses are tending to my son, listen to me yell on the phone with her, the landlord. And then I call Vince up and I was like, hey, you told me you had an opportunity for me. I need it. Are you cool with me putting my store with your new gym? Because he was moving the gym at the time. He's like, yes, 100%. Let's talk more later. I mean, we had somewhat of a business relationship when he was selling some of our brand at his other location. That was it. I put a lot of faith in him that I was going to go. And he doesn't have the greatest reputation around here, which kind of sucks. But I knew him on a different level, and I knew the guy that I was talking to compared to what everyone else was telling me. Wound up May of 2022, moving all of our stuff over, or February of 2022, moving all of our stuff over here and officially launching in March after all the building permits was going. We now were no longer Click Nutrition. I didn't buy Click. I wound up only buying their merchandise inside. So I bought all their product to sell. I wanted nothing to do with Click Nutrition anymore. As far as I know, it's still sitting there in Chapter 11 or whatever, 13 bankruptcy. And that's where it can stay. I didn't want any part of that anymore. Negative experiences, issues. I wanted a fresh start because there were people that kept bringing it up all the time. What he had done, what the, things that they had heard the name. I had cop friends in the area telling me about backdoor deals that were going on. Yeah. I'm like, I can't be a part of this reputation. I need to start fresh. So Apex Nutrition officially opened in March of 2022. And
where in Joliet was the store?
Essington and Caton Farm over at that Crystal Square Plaza. Right over there by the mall. So we want to check. We moved 5-10 minutes down the road. And some people act like we moved a lifetime away. like, gosh.
The location where you guys are at now, because I've been to your store a couple of times. I've been to Vincent's gym. It's a great populated area. Maybe a little bit back from the main road of 59 and everything, but it's not that hard to get to. And I think Shorewood is that. I mean, the population of Shorewood and Joliet is apples and oranges because they're right next to each other, but similar. I mean, same fruit. Don't look over there. Look here. Where did the name Apex come from?
So fun story on that one. I said I was a gamer. Mm-hmm. I was trying to come up with a name, and I was on my way home, and I asked myself if I was going to play Apex Legends tonight. Clicked in. I was like, that's it. We're going to call ourselves Apex. And then we got into the whole idea of, we are the top nutrition store in the area, because that's obviously what
you could say it top of the food chain. It's in every one of your fucking promos.
It's in every one. It's the way to eat for everybody.
Yeah.
I had some lawyer call me out. What does that even mean? I think I showed him pretty well, so can't wait for that video to drop.
And ironically, he is the only other guy from the wrestling world that I've had as a guest on this freaking show.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I had Chris on, I think it was sometime last year. Actually, it might have been a year ago around this time, where we talked about his weight loss journey and stuff like that.
Dude, guy should be an inspiration for a lot of people. He lost so much weight.
I thought, you know what, and he inspired me, and I was able to talk to his now wife, then fiance, about some of the foods that they created and all that stuff. And I do hope that down the line they do kind of jump into that side of it, create a business, all the food prepping and all that stuff. Because I know you have that. I watched a video not too long ago about meal prepping that you put out there. Because I don't know if Vince kind of like motivated you to do this or not, but you do utilize social media a lot. You do put out a lot of Facebook stories. I saw that, I think in your Facebook story was also a TikTok. And I don't know. I think I follow you on Instagram. Yeah, Instagram. I think you're on Instagram. How important has social media been for your business?
100%. That's how we get people coming in. You get people sharing our videos. That's why we look for influencers and affiliates, because we want them to share the business out there. I love seeing, I hate TikTok with a passion, but I love lately when I see the likes we're getting on the videos. We don't have a lot of followers, but random people that are not following us yet are saving the videos that I'm putting out there because they feel the knowledge and information I'm giving is something to continue to keep going. I hate influencers with a passion. I wouldn't want to call myself one. but I like the ability to help and I guess it's a hot word, influence others in going in the right direction. I'm not doing that to make money. I'm not doing that to get algorithmic views of that to make more money. I'm there because I want people to get the right information that's going to actually help them in the long run. That's so important.
I think when it comes to guys like you and Vince, I never really considered the term influencer for you guys. Motivator, more likely.
Okay, I like that.
The guys who are out there showing off looks, showing off vacations, showing off cars, they're influencers. They're trying to influence people to dress better and be better and everything. Dress better, vacation better, but when it comes to like a guy like you, like Vince, a lot of the guys too that I look on Instagram where I'm saving like their meal prep ideas, their workout ideas, same thing with TikTok, saving their recipes, saving their workouts, guys who at one point were 400 plus pounds, who are now 200 some pounds. To me, they're motivators because they're trying to show you how to be a better you.
Yeah.
And that's why I watch your videos, and that's why I talk to you. And so that's why I came to your store. Because you're able to kind of give me an idea of what I need in order to achieve what I'm trying to look for. The right proteins, instead of buying the shit that I can just get off Amazon because it's easy to be delivered, it's affordable and shit. Well, it's affordable for a reason compared to it's a whole concept of you get what you pay for. If there's, one thing that I learned through my parents is you always get what you pay for. Protein is expensive. But what the quality of it out there is and what it does for you and everything, it outweighs the benefit of, okay, you go spend, I don't remember, what was the, how much?
$49.99 for yours.
Yeah. I could do that, or, I could buy 6 cheeseburgers from fucking McDonald's that eventually I would do anyways. I'm sure I spend more than $50 at McDonald's in a month compared to the $50 that I bought this protein. That's going to last me anywhere from 15 to 30 days, depending on how many scoops I put in it. The same thing with all the other stuff that I bought from you, the L-carnitine and the energy. I can't remember what it is, but it's fruit punch. Burners. Yeah. So it's all posted on the picture on social media if you guys want to go look at it and everything. It's fucking there, and it's all available at Apex Nutrition and everything. So how do I want it? Because I do want to talk.
But the direction you're talking about, that's what separates me from other places. When you go into a shop, everyone thinks they're going to get sold all this stuff. You know why? Because of places like GNC. They're cashiers behind the counter that have a list. Okay, guys, and I'm telling you, stop going to GNC. They have a list, and they're telling them, this is what you sell, you'll make the most money. Yeah. Make sure you get them this. When you walk into places like mine, and I can't say this is like anywhere else because I don't believe everyone else is doing this, you can come in just for a conversation. I'm not mad if you don't buy. If we had an educated conversation to where I was able to get you some info, now we've developed trust, and now you're going to want to come back and be a customer with me. I don't just throw, you need this, and this. I find out your goals, and I make sure my staff are experts too to make sure they do the same thing, is we find out your goals, and we get you what is actually needed compared to what's going to make me a crap ton of money. It is the complete opposite business model of a retail store. I get that, but that is how I've chosen to run my business and how it is successful, because we want to be able to educate and to be able to do those. We get educated by our customers too on what products they want to have. Like, I'm very specific on what products we bring in. Our pricing, guys, I've been in business now since 2021. I've not raised my prices once outside of protein. That was it. That was because the industry made me do it. Once they dropped, I brought it right back down. I'm still beating internet pricing. We have internet pricing in store that you can get the product a day of while also talking to an actual expert instead of just reading a description on the corner of a page where you don't really know just because Joe Schmo on the internet told you need to be taking this. Well, come talk to me, and I'm going to make sure if it's something you actually should be taking, if it's going to do anything, because our bodies all react differently to different things. So like you say, you look at somebody that's an influencer, but they might be doing something that might not work for you, but you gave you an idea now, and that's the direction you can go because now you've been motivated to find your own version of what that person's doing while also going to stores like mine to get you what you actually need to go. We're kid friendly to where it's younger adults. I hate the fact that I get teens coming in telling mom and dad something. The same thing I did at GameStop. You did not want to come to a GameStop with me being the manager at that store, because I would get a parent coming up with Grand Theft Auto freaking 4 and 5 and be like, oh, he wants to buy it. He said he wants this game. And I'm like, ma'am, do you know anything about this game? And it's like, well, he says it's a driving game. And I looked at the kid. I'm like, yeah, there's some driving in there. That's for sure. I just like, I'm sorry, buddy, but this is my job. I can't just let you have this game and mom's going to come yell at me later. And I tell her, she's like, no, you got to go put this back. I was like, oh my God. And by the way, I hate Grand Theft Auto. Let's just make sure I am not excited for 6. I don't care.
Dude, I bought a brand new custom computer just to play online Grand Theft Auto. We are not the same.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I dropped a lot of fucking money on a nice computer just to play online.
Did that for Apex, if that helps.
Talk to me about the meal preps that you have, because I watched the video. So every Monday, I believe it is, you have these meals that are delivered to your store that people can purchase and everything. Talk a little bit about how that partnership came up, what it is, and kind of like how people can kind of sign up for it or get it through your business.
So unlike other places, a lot of places will buy Clean Eats, or they get this. There's like an online site that they order. It's frozen. It's delivered. Whatever. It's packaged at a factory.
Factor and all that shit.
Exactly. Yeah. That stuff can be cool, but when you're coming into a nutrition shop, you expect the best from them. So I met Chef Aaron Sane 10 years ago, roughly, doing, I was a gym manager at the time. He was doing an event for a supplement shop out in Mokina. Valhalla Vitamins is no longer around. And we met there, discovered that he lived down the street from me when he showed up at the gym next to my house that I started working out at. Yeah. Now, this dude also is a celebrity chef. He disappeared for like 4 years because he was living with Aaron Donald, Nick Cannon, and some other guys. He was making food for these guys. Now he comes back. He's like, I'm doing a business. His wife discovers my business, and when he gets my business card to see my name, always remembered my name. Couldn't believe it. Me and him chatted about possibly bringing in the meals. So this guy makes the meals every weekend. He drops them off for me on Mondays. We get specialty treats as well that have higher protein than you would in a normal. So donuts, cookies, peanut butter cups. This is all have healthier ingredients than you're going to get in an actual store or like store whatever for the normal stuff. So freshly made every week. I think he does 4 meals a week, and we vary based on how much they're selling. Like lately, we've only been ordering like 25 meals. When we first launched this 2 years ago, before, inflation and all that, we were ordering 100+ meals a week and selling them out.
Now, do these meals, are they following any type of dieting? Because we obviously at the beginning we mentioned carnivore and keto and stuff like that. Is there special ordering you could do? Because I think what worked best for me was keto, and I don't think it was the high fat ketosis. I think it was the low carb. So for someone like me, if I was like, man, I would love to do the meal thing, but I need like a low carb option. Are those like scheduled to be made, or like how do you determine what meals are being brought in on Monday?
So there are low carb options. You can always ask him to. He does have some vegan options. I usually don't bring the vegan options into the store. They never did well, and I don't want food just sitting on my shelf and going bad.
Because you don't want to feed hippies, I get it.
Yeah. So it's okay. I don't discriminate with that. I don't want that in the store. But the cool thing is too, if you find a meal you really like, and they're balanced meals, guys. It's not a specific diet. It's those though. It's high protein. There's some that are higher in carbs. They're a good amount of carb source. You have your calorie source being under 400, so you know exactly it's measured out for you on the label too, so you can actually track it. But yeah, if you find something you really like and he doesn't cycle it very often, you can buy the meal fresh. I hate to say freeze it yourself. Keep it in the freezer for 3 months. Now you always have food ready to go in case you don't have time to cook dinner one night. You're able then to have a meal ready for yourself.
Based on your opinion, let's say somebody does 16-hour fasting. They do the 8-6 fasting.
We're doing intermittent fasting. Okay.
Yeah. Let's be honest. We're talking about me now. We're going to talk a little bit more.
Okay, so we're directly on you now. Got
it.
So
for you morbidly obese fucks out there like me, this is the information I'm trying to get for free here and enjoy it. So I'm doing I want to consistently do 8-16 fasting. Eventually, I've done a 72-hour fast before, and I look forward to doing that again because that fucking was euphoric. Absolutely amazing.
Okay.
But let's say for 8-16. For your opinion, best time for my 8-hour window is what? Noon to 8, 8 to 4. What should that be?
So it varies on lifestyle, but I did intermittent fasting quite a while myself, and I started eating around the noon to 8. That way, because you can think about this too, depending on your day.
I wake up at 6 a.m.
Yeah, so I was doing right around the same thing. Now you have an awake fast for 6 hours roughly there, so that's pretty good because your body's metabolism now is moving more than when it's in your sleep. So, and you're moving around, you should be during that time frame. Start eating from noon to 8, cut it off at 8. Now you're getting ready for bed. You don't need any more food before bed. And most people eat stuff they're not supposed to anyway. With more carbs you eat at night, the worse it is for your body because it's trying to repair itself. And the carbs take that HGH, that human growth hormone we make for repairs and building, and it uses that instead of it being used to actually rebuild the muscle and to help you actually grow your size. More HGH we have too in our body, the leaner we get. So you don't want that. So if you're going to eat at night, ladies and gentlemen, after 8 p.m., like within that 2-3 hour window, high protein, like almost no carb if you can.
So my plan, my overall goal, my work through, which I was going to try doing this, but I should have started this last week, but I'm trying to do this in process, in like steps kind of thing to be a better me. So last week I focused on healthier eating. Like today, I for the first time I made 1 egg, half a cup of egg whites, half a cup of cottage cheese, a quarter cup of cheese, scrambled. It was actually pretty fucking good. Loved it. Low carb, high protein, worked on protein. And obviously I also had the protein shake. That was my morning.
Good.
This week I quit smoking. So when you see me muting and coughing and clearing my throat a lot, it's because I haven't smoked since 11 a.m. on Sunday. So this is day 7 of it, so it's just trying to fucking break up. Next week I want to try incorporating workouts and stuff back into my life. I'm going to start doing the DDP yoga again. I'm doing the beginner, the beginning 13 weeks is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The goal is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday to do workouts. Tuesday or Thursday will be in the evenings, 6:30, 7-ish to be at the gym because I get home at 6. Saturdays in the mornings. So for a guy who wakes up at 6 a.m., is at work from 8 to 4, gets home by 6, gets changed, gets to the gym, works out from 7 to 8:30, 9 o'clock. Where should fasting begin and stop? Because I usually have a protein shake after I work out. Okay. But if I don't get done working out until 8:30, 9 o'clock, my fast is going to start until like 10. So do I just kind of like whenever I get done eating, continue the fast from that point? So that means I'm not eating from like 10 to 4 or 10 to 2, I think, 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. Okay. Like, does that work that way? Like, what would be the best way? Like, do the workout and not have the protein shake?
No. So, you can't break anything in between the fast. The fast has to be consistent throughout that whole time. So, if we're talking about the fact that I say the normal optimal window would be 12 to, 8 o'clock, okay, make it 1 o'clock to 9. Now you have that time to still have your protein shake and go back into your fasting time in the proper amount of time. And I think a lot otherwise too kind of vary this a little too much. You get done with your workout at 8:30, okay, that's fine. Still have your protein shake. I think we're too big on that half-hour marker right there. You're close enough as it is. That half hour isn't going to do that much of a difference. That hour isn't going to be the big change. It's the key thing is that you went for such a long amount of time that you've used so much in that time. If you lose an hour, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to destroy what you're doing because there's no exact science to the perfect fast time yet. There's people that do longer, that do 16-hour fasts and only like that, even a less of a window on this stuff. So 18, I've seen a 20-hour fast and they eat for 4 hours. I'm like, dude, that's ridiculous. I'm very big on calories in, calories out, and constantly feeding the metabolism. But I'm also doing something different. I'm trying to build size while most are trying to lose weight right now, but I also want to keep my weight the same, and that's where the weird diets and tendencies come into play. So for you, just stick to what you're kind of doing. If anything, adjust that hour for yourself. Don't cut that end of the protein shake because that's going to be the last thing now you have for the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so calorie deficits. You did a video on it. I see a lot of videos on it. They talk about how in order to establish the calories you should be taking in is taking the goal weight, I think, and like multiplying it by 1 or like the amount of, or like, what the fuck is it?
I think it's 2.
The 2? Yeah. So whatever the fuck it is, I'm trying to remember. Like, I know when I was trying to say, I think one video said 1.8. I don't know. I know it was 1 point something for calorie and it was point something for protein or some shit.
Yeah. It's 0.0 because you want to have, it's per calories. There's like 7 calories per 1 gram of protein, 9 calories per 1 gram of fat. I think it's 5 calories for every carb, for every gram of carb, if I remember correctly. I know I'm in the ballpark on that one.
Yeah.
Just off the top of my head. The beautiful thing nowadays is we are in a world of technology, and I do tend to use, MyFitnessPal. Use your apps that are coming out of your phone because I know they have those. There is online calorie calculators. Use that to your advantage to really find out what that baseline is, and then take 500 calories minimum out a day from that.
Yeah. Well,
and that's really good. It depends on how fast you really want to show results.
For me, like, and I don't remember what the math was. For me to maintain the weight I'm at now, it's 400 and something, or it's 4,000 some odd something fucking calories, whatever the hell it is. Okay. My goal weight overall is 280, but I'm focused on getting to 320 first. So we're looking at 120 fucking pounds. So my calorie intake is somewhere around, I think, 3,400 fucking calories or some shit.
Okay.
Now, I know I'm not eating 3,400 fucking calories in a day. And yet, I'm still not losing fucking weight. Well, one of the things I recently did is I went to the doctor. For the first time in a decade, I got blood drawn and got shit looked at. Because, again, turning 35 years old, I want to know how bad of a situation I put myself in. Obviously, being a fucking heavy smoker, having asthmatic bronchitis, being overweight, being 35 and shit, something's fucking wrong. I don't know what it is, but something's fucking wrong. So I went in and I talked with him, and I was telling him, the last time I had fucking blood work done was I think in 2000. I had blood work done in 2020 through Meat Electric, company I used to work for before I got laid off. But it did like the very basic. Like, hey, you got high blood pressure, this is normal, this is normal, blah, blah, blah. So I went with him. I was like, I haven't been to a care physician in a decade, but I got blood drawn like 4 years ago. I just kind of see what the fuck is. I want to see where it's at, because again, I'm not in the best shape. Fucking haven't been in a while. The best shape I have been in since I left high school was in 2018 when I dropped 60 fucking pounds, but I was still 370 fucking pounds. Yeah.
Still 60 pounds.
Yeah. It was from beginning. It was January to April. So within 4 months, I dropped 60 pounds through keto. A lot of it, I think, had to do with my motivation and shit for having a girlfriend at that time too.
Yeah, that helps.
So I had the blood work done, and I also asked him, I was like, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I'm trying to do the vitamins. I'm taking vitamins like magnesium and iron and D3 and vitamin B, because according to the internet, those are the best vitamins to take if you're obese. Those are the best vitamins to help with your body or whatever. So I take those constantly. Take them every fucking day. I was like, I'm just not losing the weight. So he said, okay, well, let's also check the thyroid. Let's also check testosterone. Because I even talked with you. I believe my testosterone is low.
I was going to
firmly fucking believe it. So we got everything done. I got the results back, and everything was fucking perfect. Right in the middle of the ranges it should be, except testosterone.
And what was that one?
Well, what's the number supposed to be for somebody who's 35 years old?
Do you want to know normal range is anywhere from 230 to 900?
90.
Oh yeah, that's really low. That's really low.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. I cry like a bitch to fucking puppy adoption fucking videos. I know who I am. Shit, I just watched Last Man Standing, that fucking Tim Allen fucking show on Hulu, and it was a sentimental moment between the mother and daughter, and I teared up a little bit like a bitch. So it's at 90. So my testosterone, like I knew, something was fucking wrong. This is the one thing that's wrong. Now, I don't know if a 90 on the test, obviously, it's like that, it's like 230 or whatever.
230 to 900 is normal.
So, at 90, is my weight loss, is my non-existent weight loss an occurrence because of that 90 number?
Oh, yeah, that's a huge part of it.
Okay.
You're already cutting calories. I mean, when you start working out more, of course, that'd be better for you. But yeah, as men, when your testosterone's that low, we have trouble burning fat. We have trouble losing weight. Plus, I'm sure your stress levels are pretty darn high, so your cortisol levels are probably through the roof.
As far as stress goes, this is the least amount of stress I've been in a very long time. And a lot of that had to do with the financial shit that I had to do.
Yeah. So once you keep going in that direction, that's great, because that will prevent your cortisol levels.
Yeah. Not to get gross and everything, but we're fucking adults here. Limitation of masturbation, I've also heard increased testosterone. It's a fact of life.
I mean, it's in there. I'm just never going to tell anybody.
It's part of it.
You want to crank?
Yeah, I'm not saying like, hey, if you wait a week and everything, you're going to be fucking good to go. No.
Yeah.
But it so
they're affected.
Yeah. So variables from what I was explained was testosterone can obviously cause erectile dysfunction. I got no fucking problems there. Smoking causes low testosterone. Sleeping habits could be an issue. And obviously poor dieting. So
yeah,
working on the dieting. I've only been doing it for a week and a half and everything. I got the blood done Thursday of the week of my new dieting I'm trying. Okay. I quit smoking the following Sunday. Next Monday, the 17th, I think it is, or 16th, whatever the fuck it is, that Monday, I gotta go to a doctor and pick up a machine to do an at-home sleep apnea test, because he wants to see if I have sleep apnea, which I'm pretty sure I do. If I'm 450 fucking pounds, I'm pretty sure I got fucking sleep apnea. I'm sure there's no doubt. Because you think that could count for the low testosterone too, is poor sleeping habits, which I know I have. I sleep for like maybe 5.5 hours a fucking day, if that.
That's not enough.
I wake up in the morning, I wake up in the middle of the night and shit all the time. So I know I got sleep. I'm pretty sure I do. I can't say for certain, but like I said, I knew there was fucking testosterone. I knew that. Because I was fucking, I feel weak, I feel tired, I feel hurt.
But you have the energy to still do what you need to do. Yeah. And that was the same point I was in the same boat. My test was nowhere near as low. But I was in the middle of the range, and I had to go on to a TRT because I knew something was wrong. Me being an athlete and me being our age, I felt like I should be having more energy, pretty regularly. The second I did some TRT, I wound up just being my normal self. And honestly, my mood changed. I was a lot happier. Everyone was worried I was going to be more aggressive. I was actually happier. I'm more tentative. I love everything about life right now. And it's, my energy level is where it should be. It matches the way I feel. And that's how it should be. So.
Yeah. Well, I need to increase mine 5 times over and shit. So I don't know what his decision's going to be after I get the results back on the sleep apnea test. I'm sure it's going to be like, okay, you got sleep apnea. We're going to have to put you on a CPAP machine or whatever the fuck the things are called. I was like, that's great. But I don't think better sleep is going to get me from 90 to fucking 450 or whatever the fuck I want to be at. So I'm going to assume there's probably going to be some kind of fucking testosterone injection or some shit.
They'll send you to a special doctor for that. And you'll talk to them, they'll show you the results, and yes, then you'll wind up doing either patch, cream. I mean, there's so many different variables now that you can have in there.
Well, I prefer a fucking pill and shit, but that's why I know, like, and I'm sure it's gonna be a question that's gonna be brought up with him and everything. But I'm gonna ask you too. Over-the-counter testosterone vitamins and supplements, do they fucking work?
There are some that actually do, but you got to get the right ones. You got to make sure you talk to those like me that only carries the ones that actually work, that are not just a bunch of BS. We just started carrying one from Project Number One, which is a major brand that we carry now. If you've not heard of this brand before and you're like, oh, I've never heard of them, that's fine. They've only been around 2 years and they are the fastest growing brand I've ever seen. I actually handle now, because I love the company so much, I handle their overseas sales now, which was awesome. And, they came up with a test booster like a month ago. Everyone is losing their mind. The problem is it's expensive because it has 4 quality ingredients that are known to actually boost testosterone, while most companies are putting 1, 2, and a bunch of other dumb crap in there to kind of get you confused to make it look like it's going to work. These guys went right for the big stuff, and it's quality ingredient. And a lot of people have seen like a 200-point increase overall. Tungkat Ali and Fedosia agrestis are 2 plants that grow out in the world. It's called Lungjack, is the name of the plant for Tungkat Ali. And these are known to raise your testosterone up to 300 because, and that's free testosterone. That's the stuff that actually turns into our body's overall testosterone. Fedosia actually does kind of something interesting. It's sending signals to your brain that it needs to send signals to your testes to pump out more testosterone. So it kind of works in that form instead of adding an item that could actually boost. It just tells your body to throw more of itself out, which is kind of nice.
Gotcha. Matt, I know you got to open your store soon, so we'll wrap up here in a bit and everything.
Yeah, you're good.
But I appreciate taking the time out and talking with me. You are going to be my go-to guy through my fucking journey. I always call this a journey. I don't call it a diet. It's a fucking journey. And I'm hoping
it's an entire lifestyle. You're going into another direction. The Travis that you are now is not going to be the same Travis you're going to be at the end of this. So yeah, I would definitely call this a journey because it is.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think it's all going to come down to is like what my doctor could do for me as far as getting my testosterone boost. Because I think that will help, because the goal one day, again, is to have that one fucking match, Yeah. But I want to do it the right way, And it's like Hunter says, like, well, I mean, you could have a match right now. It's like, I could, but it'd be a novelty thing. Like, I don't want to team up with fucking Turtle to take on punitive damages where I come in and do a fucking clothesline, back elbow, shoulder tackle, fucking body splash pin or whatever. Like, I want to put on that match that I know I could have, that I have at school shows that we put on back in 08, 09. Like, I want to have those actual fucking matches. Okay. And if I just have the one, I'm fucking happy with it. Yeah. But I know I need to get to a place that I could be healthy and I could safely fucking do it. And that's obviously going to involve the queen smoking, which I'm on that right now, getting my lungs back to a capacity where I can fucking build the endurance to fucking have the match, be able to move in the ring without getting blown up, be able to perform the moves safely against whoever I'm fucking facing, and making sure that my back with the issues I'm having now is really just from the excessive weight carrying and not something more internal that I'm going to have to fucking look into. But it's going to be a fucking wild ride, and I talk about it a lot here on this freaking show, and we always talk about my struggles and my journeys, the shit that I overcome and the shit that I have to deal with and everything. And for those out there, when I talk about Matt, when I talk about Apex Nutrition, when I talk about the shit that's going to help me get me from here to there, this is the guy. When you hear Apex talk on SCW or on JFW or MCW, MCW, yeah. It just sounds weird.
It sounds awkward when you say it, but you're right.
It's a character. It's who the gimmick is, but Matt isn't a fucking gimmick. Matt's a real deal dude. With a solid fucking business. Like I said, I wasn't big going to fucking nutrition stores, man. And to be honest with you, I didn't want to go into yours to begin with because in my mind, it's like you said, it's that GNC fucking vibe. You're just going to sell me. You're just going to sell me what you think I need to, because I'm an idiot when it comes to this shit. So I don't know. You could sell me fucking magic beans for all I know. But the thing is, learning who you are and learning the kind of person you are, the company you keep, and how you present yourself, we know it's not bullshit. And it's like you said, I could have walked in there and you could have sold me the 1 pound bag of Cinnamon Toast Crunch protein for $50, but you sold me what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because for me it was more. For me, I still want to be conservative about what I buy, but I still want to buy the best shit. And you carry the best shit. It's not, you don't walk into this room and there's 150 different brands of, anything from $20 to $130 fucking dollars. These are the qualities of proteins that I carry because these are the proteins I believe in. And you weren't trying to sell me a 1 pound bag. I wanted the 3 pound or 5 pound, whatever I fucking bought. I wanted that. That's it. Yeah, that's good protein. That you pick a flavor. Peanut butter, chocolate, vanilla. I picked vanilla.
Whatever you want. This is the best protein we got.
Yep. I told you what I wanted to do. I wanted to work on thermogenetics. I want to work on fat burning. You show me the supplements I need. You show me L-carnitine or whatever the fuck that's called. Yep. And then I'm never gonna pronounce it right.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's fucking canine, but whatever.
Yeah.
And also needed energy throughout the day. And you showed me that fucking powder, which is fantastic. I drank it for the first time on this show. That weekend I bought it, and I tried it, and it's fucking delicious. It's incredible, and it gives me energy. Apex Nutrition, do you have a website that people can purchase through, or do they gotta go in store?
Working on that right now. You can call me. We can talk over the phone, and I can process over the phone for right now. We just got a new POS system like a month ago. This is probably the 4th time of me having to picture, describe, and do everything on an online website. So it is taking me a little bit because my brain, and plus I'm in the store all day by myself. So I'm always helping out customers. So I don't really get a chance to do a lot. I don't want to outsource this. But that is one way to do it. If you have questions, you can follow us on Apex Nutrition LLC on Instagram. And then it's Apex Nutrition on Facebook. You cannot miss the claws, guys. That is my symbol, Apex Nutrition with the claws. There is 2 other Apexes that I found. One is in North Carolina or South Carolina, not me. And then one is a Herbalife dealer in St. Louis. Once again, not me. People tag me in there somehow when they're commenting on there. And by the way, you want the biggest scam in the fitness industry, it's Herbalife. Do not buy it. If you are on Herbalife, you're watching this, you need to come talk to me. I will put you on stuff that is better, that's going to cost you less, and actually get results and not be part of this weird little scheme thing they have going on. So yeah, do not do that. And if anyone wants to come at me with Herbalife, you can come find me. I don't care. I really just don't care anymore. I've already name dropped GNC, and I usually just say the 3-letter store and shit. We're at the point now where I'm tired of being nice. But definitely follow us on that stuff, guys. We do run sales, but one thing, and it just popped in my head the other day. I get a lot. I see a lot of people come in and they'll ask me, like, we just ran buy 2 products, get the 3rd one free for Memorial Day. Guys, do not support places you love only when they're running sales. That place will not be around if you keep doing that. So always, if you love that place, show that support. Make sure you show them the support at all times. Don't just, they got a sale, I'm going to go get that now. Hey, I'm going to keep buying this from online. Guys, especially stuff like me, I price match online, and I've already price matched. So unless they're running some major sale, I'm already out doing anything the internet's doing, and you can have the product that day with somebody there to talk to. So make sure you support your friends. Make sure you support your local businesses. Make sure you support your local wrestling companies if you're wrestling fans. It's all stuff that goes through my head like all the time, and I never want to be the guy to call out people like that because you do have that choice. You have that preference. But like, this is like people like me. This is how we feed our families. That we feed, take care of our households, and we want to make sure that other companies like me. I support a lot of companies like me that are out there because I have been lucky enough to learn this as I go, but also have known enough to be successful very quickly. I was a manager as I was 17 years old, so I get it. Make sure you do check out Apex Nutrition. As I said, fucking Matt takes pride in the shit he's doing. Like, you guys can't really see it. If you're doing the audio, you won't see it at all. But in the video, you can't really see it either. Like, he is currently at his office, at his shop, because in about 9 minutes, he's going to open up the store and run the store himself. He does have help and shit like that. You do have people who cover the store from time to time. But when you walk into Apex Nutrition and you're looking for information, there's a good chance you're talking to the owner of the business. And he wants you to be a returning customer. He wants you to constantly come back. He wants you to put trust, so you know he's not going to bullshit you and lie like box stores and shit are going to fucking do. So
again, and you know me, I don't fucking like people. I said that on the show. The world sucks, and it's because of the people who are in it. So if I like somebody, then you know they're fucking good people. He mentioned it, Instagram, Apex Nutrition LLC, Facebook, Apex Nutrition, TikTok, I think is Apex Nutrition.
I believe it's just apex.nutrition on there. Same thing on Facebook. If you need to find us, it's nutrition.apex. If you wanted to put it in the search bar, otherwise just search us up there. You'll see we're in Shorewood, Illinois. And there's quite a bit of followers. I try to post daily. Lately, unfortunately, there's been some stuff that I have not posted regularly. But I was posting pretty regularly, at least once to twice a week. And then I'm always available for messaging, so you guys can always message to ask questions.
Perfect. Matt, thanks again for coming on and talking with me, man. It's awesome to learn about you and get to that, because we talked back and forth for a little bit, but we never really deep dive into shit. And I appreciate you kind of talking about your childhood and growing up and everything. I said, we didn't have similar fucking ways of growing up, but they weren't that fucking far off.
No.
I'm glad that you were able to get to where you are today through, all that shit, and hopefully I can say the same thing maybe this time next year. So,
I'll help you out. You know that.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Again, make sure you check out Apex Nutrition. It's in Shorewood. If you guys live in the Joliet, Kankakee area, take the drive, get over there. He'll help you out. He's working on the store for all you people who live everywhere else. For our listeners out there in India, whatever. I don't fucking know. Buy fucking protein.
You never know. I mean, people stumble,
Yeah. You ship some shit to fucking India, you're welcome. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, This Freakin' Show. Listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can watch the podcast on Freakin' Studios YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe over there, so you can watch and, listen to my interview there, if you choose to do so. But guys, that's all I got. As always, I am Travis C. This is Matt Stoffle from Apex Nutrition. And thank you for listening to another episode of This Freakin' Show. I'm out.